It's time to talk business. Without the current subsidy on petrol, the actual importation and retail costs would be at about 410 naira per litre. As market conditions take price to thrice of 117 naira pump price. This was disclosed by the Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPC Limited, Mr. Mele Kyari. Mr. Kyari also justified the engagement of private security contractors to secure its facilities in an effort to fight against oil theft in the country, said it has paid off. On his part, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, said the meeting was important for policymakers to gain valuable insight into the issues and achieve clarity of the actions needed to be taken to achieve greater transparency and accountability in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. And away from that sector, Minister of Environment, Mr. Mohammed Abdullahi, says the federal government is spending 9% of the country's gross domestic product GDP to address climate change. Nigeria's gross domestic product was worth $440.78 billion in 2021, according to official data from the World Bank. And so the country may spend around this amount in tackling climate change based on the disclosure of the federal government. Mr. Abdullahi disclosed this while addressing African leaders during the inauguration of the African Carbon Market Initiative, a side event organized by the Climate Action at the ongoing COP27 in Egypt. The minister also told participants in the 2021 Nigeria became the first African country to design a detailed energy transition plan to tackle energy poverty and climate change, as well as deliver universal access to energy by 2030 and net zero by 2060. To other stories now. As the 2022 Lagos International Trade Fair continues to gather momentum across the board, some agencies of the federal government are calling for proper adoption of the micro-pension plan to accommodate more players around that bracket. Head Micro-Pensions Department at the National Pension Commission, Mr. Dauda Ahmed, who was at the Tafawa Balewa Square venue of the ongoing trade fair to celebrate the Pencom Day, the fair used the platform to speak extensively on the micro-pension plan and its advantages as well as prospects. The position was supported by the head of the Southwest Zonal Office of the National Pension Commission.
That we've adopted so that we can have one-on-one interactions with individuals. We're also using the media as social partners to be able to reach out to massively to individuals that we cannot possibly be able to talk to. We've also been reaching out to union leaderships and associations to have discussions with them so that they can secure that buy-in and then hopefully reach out to their members that this is one way in which you can be able to help yourself. We want people to have an opportunity to be able to save on their own voluntarily, for them to be able to have a pension, not necessarily when you work for government, but even if you are working for yourself, you can save something. At old age, practically is the cash that you have that is important, not necessarily the assets that you have, if fixed assets, because it's very difficult sometimes to dispose. But if you have something that will be giving you steady stream of income, I think that is what will sustain you.
About 2 or 3 days ago, we were with the Nigerian Bar Association Ikorodu branch to tell them about the workings of the micro-pension plan. And immediately after that presentation, a lot of them came to us that they are actually interested, and we give them our addresses in case they need to be more enlightened. In fact, one of them said they have a chamber, and they want us to come to that chamber to tell them about the workings of the micro-pension plan. So people are actually interested, and that is what the Commission stands for. Like the head of micro-pension plan said, the Commission will provide that enabling environment for PFAs and participants to thrive together.
In the meantime, the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, CIBN, and the Lagos Business School have collaborated to stem the tide of highly skilled Nigerians moving abroad to study. Speaking during the signing of the agreement on Friday, the second vice president of the CIBN, Mr. Dele Alabi, said what young Nigerians are searching for abroad is now right at their doorsteps. The aim of the partnership is to introduce executive courses to enhance the capabilities and effectiveness of professionals, especially in the banking industry. The executive program offers participants dual certification in Master of Business Administration and Associateship of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria and Senior Management Program and Associateship of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria.
Is to domesticate it. We're trying to replicate what we have achieved out of the UK in Nigeria. We don't want people to be going out of the country to have that unique experience. And that's basically the whole essence of this collaboration between the CIBN and the Lagos Business School. We believe that in this industry, we need competent people, we need people that are skilled, and we need to be able to develop capacity locally. And we don't need to take people out of the country before we can develop that capacity. So that's basically the major reason why we have gone into this collaboration, this strategic alliance with the Lagos Business School. We believe now, going forward, we should be able to build capacity in the industry. We should be able to develop more bankers and give them more skills and competencies. And at the end of the day, we believe that this will result in a significant development of the Nigerian economy.
Let's look at the importance of the banking industry to the economy. It drives the economy, and for the banking industry to be effective and efficient, we need capacity building. You notice that today, the banking industry is losing a lot of talent among the young ones who are leaving for greener pasture. Some of them actually going abroad to school. But what we have done with CIBN to see how we can actually develop that capacity here by collaborating with them to train the bankers.
Let's turn to global markets now as Asian shares pulled back today and the dollar held its overnight gains before the big test of a U.S. consumer inflation report, while market sentiment took a dive as the likely collapse of a major crypto exchange spooked investors. European markets are set to extend the cautious mood, with the pan-region Euro Stoxx 50 futures down at 0.7%. S&P 500 futures edged up at 0.2%, while the Nasdaq futures rose at 0.3%. MSCI, the broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares outside Japan, fell at 1.2%, dragged lower by a 1.0% drop in China's blue chips and a 1.8% retreat in Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index. Japan's Nikkei lost at 1.0%. The proposed deal between the CEO of FTX, Mr. Sam Bankman-Fried, and the CEO of Binance, Mr. Changpeng Zhao, has collapsed. The deal is to rescue cryptocurrency market as investors pulled out from riskier assets in the wake of rising interest rates. The cryptocurrency market has fallen by about 2/3 from its peak to $1.07 trillion. The Binance CEO says in a statement that due to the corporate diligence reports regarding mishandled customer funds and alleged U.S. agency investigations, he decided not to pursue the acquisition of FTX.com. Also, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission is investigating crypto exchange FTX.com's handling of customer funds amid a liquidity crunch, as well as its crypto lending activities. According to Mr. Bankman-Fried, his goals were to protect customers and provide any help he could for staff and investors. And Meta Platforms Incorporated says it will cut more than 11,000 jobs, or 13% of its workforce, as Facebook parents doubled down on its risky metaverse bets amid a crumbling advertising market and decades-high inflation. The mass layoffs are among the biggest this year and the first in Meta's 18-year history will follow thousands of job cuts at other tech companies, including Mr. Elon Musk's owned Twitter Incorporated, Microsoft Co., and Snap Incorporated. Like its peers, Meta aggressively hired during the pandemic to meet a surge in social media usage by stuck-at-home consumers. But business has suffered this year as advertisers and consumers pull the plug on spending in the face of soaring costs and rapidly rising interest rates. Meta, once worth more than $1 trillion, is now valued at $256 billion after losing more than 70% of its value this year alone. Let's wrap things off now with crude oil prices on the international market. That's it. Extended losses today for a fourth consecutive session as renewed COVID curbs in China, the world's biggest crude importer, weighed on the market, and traders await U.S. inflation data for clues on further interest rate increases. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude fell today, experiencing a price decline of 0.16% to sell at $85.69 per barrel. Brent crude futures experienced an uptick of 0.02%, selling at $92.67 per barrel. And body light remains in the red zone to sell at $94.10 per barrel, with a downward price review of 3.55%. And for the OPEC basket, crude oil dealers are offering $95.99 per barrel, with a price decline of 1.37%.